365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's going on, everybody? We are here with Fastbreak. I got my man Justin and Mike Conman with us. We're going to get into some NBA. Last night was crazy. The Knicks is crazy. Kyrie seems like he's crazy. The NBA is just in an uproar right now. I don't even know if the NFL is still going on, but it's a bunch of NBA talk for us going on tonight. But before we get into it, fellas, how we doing tonight?
Well, you know, Ray, I'm doing rather well. Got to have Justin aboard. We got some great NBA topics to discuss. Let's go ahead and do the damn thing.
All right, Justin, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. Glad to be back.
Good to have you. We may or may not have a Freddie sighting this evening, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your eyes peeled if a unicorn appears on the screen. But first, let's go ahead and get into it. We had the draft last night. In a shock, Paolo Banchero goes 1. Chet Holmgren, the lock of locks, went 2. And then the young man's name escapes me, from Arizona, went number 3. And then the rest kind of rounded out. So the 5 players kind of went in the top 5 we expected. But the order in which they went, I don't know if those were what people expected. And then I don't know if where the players went, if they fit. I think that's going to be some of the teams that drafted in the top 5 definitely will have some decisions to make, as the incoming rookies could potentially be pushing out some of the older players on some of these teams. But we'll start high level, and Jabari Smith was his name. I apologize. We'll start high level. Mike, what did you think of the draft? Were there any surprises for you? Do you feel like any team did well? Anybody did worse than you expected? Just kind of give us your thoughts.
Well, you know, boss, quiet as kept. I had Jabari Smith going number 1. I felt he'd be the most pro-ready for what Orlando needed. And I was absolutely wrong. I mean, the top 3 was all discombobulated. I done had Jabari going 1. I had Paolo going 2, and I had Chet going 3, and that messed up. But the draft was, I mean, either 3, you couldn't go wrong. I think they're all great prospects. I really felt that Jabari Smith had more potential because, first of all, he had a more of a perimeter game, a better outside shooter, and the fact that he was considered more of a defensive player than the other 2 that were named. I know Banchero was more, they said more NBA ready, but I felt that Jabari Smith was, and they even say he was compared to Kevin Garnett or Abdul Rahim. And I saw the highlights, and I've been watching TV like for 3 days and watching all the players and the interviews. I felt that Jabari Smith was definitely the number 1, and I still believe he will be the one that comes up to be the best of all 3. Chet Holmgren, to me, he has a lot to be, I guess, to go as far as his weight's concerned, and the fact that he is very thin. He's going to get beat up in the paint. Although they say he's a perimeter shooter, how are you going to be 7 foot and be a perimeter shooter? I don't see that happening. I think that he's going to be having a hard time going against like Embiid or you know, any of the big men in the NBA right now. But I was surprised at the way the order went. But apparently the scouts know what they're doing. They have the big board, over 150 players. They chose who they wanted to choose, and I felt that they chose who they felt was going to be the best. But in my opinion, I think Jabari Smith's going to end up being the best pro prospect.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from. I will say they can have draft boards, but people miss every year. So
exactly,
just because they picked them at number 1
Right.
That doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. And if I'm looking at the history of Orlando, I can't really point to a lot of draft picks that I say they got right in recent history.
Not in the recent history. What? Shaquille O'Neal and
I think they had Grant. No, not Grant. They had Penny and Shaq.
yeah. After that, hey, don't look
I
too
can't
good.
think of a real star that Orlando has had.
Correctly. And they've
so-
had 3 or 4 first round picks, number 1 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I trust them, but I will say Banchero was my number 1 pick. I think he is the most pro ready, but I don't know how he really fits into that front court with Wagner, with Bamba. I think Bamba's gonna go. You still got Wendell Carter Jr.
Yep.
And there's another big man they have there that's relatively young. So I don't really know how those three play. I don't know if they trade some players because the number 1 pick got to play.
No
So
question.
if you drafted him number 1, he should be playing for you. But definitely interesting. But Justin, I want to get you in. How did you think the draft played out? Any big surprises for you, or just your general takeaways?
I think the biggest surprise to me is the Orlando Magic is still a franchise. I mean, you don't hear much about them, and you haven't heard much about them in the last 5 years or so. So I think to me that was the biggest surprise. But you know, you look at the top 5, and I mean, any of them really could have went in any order and still made a difference on the team that they went to, in my opinion. So I think the draft fell how it needed to fall. I really can't add any more to what Mike said.
Fair enough. Marcus, Philly, in the building.
Marcus, yeah, you know that. Come at me.
What did you think of the draft, and kind of any takeaways for your team or just in general?
Well, you definitely know it's going to be about my team. And, I think what they did with that 23rd pick was right on the money. You couldn't get no better than that. You get Danny Green off the books. You remove his $10 million salary for the year, and you bring back a better you bring back a better 3-and-D player than Thibault is right now. And I believe that move opened up enough to move Thibault somewhere down the line to bring back a better bench player. Because, us Sixers, our bench sucked. Nothing around it, nothing about it. And then the draft itself remind me of the 06 draft class. You got just a bunch of names. You really want to know what they do to like their 5th year into the league. We never knew what LaMarcus became, until he got to Portland after like his 3rd season. The Rudy Gays of the world. Who else? There's a bunch of them. Like the Rondos, like this draft class remind me of the 2006 draft class. Like they have to play, you probably won't know who they are from 1 through 20 until like year 4 or 5, before we can say that this draft class, as far as I can tell with the draft class, there's nothing exciting about it. You basically got to wait and see, 4 or 5 years down the line. That's what I got for that.
Okay. And Sensei, your takeaways from the draft?
I think that Jaden Ivey is going to be the sleeper of the draft. I'm glad that he got drafted in the top 5 because I do feel like he's a top 5 prospect. But I think he's the most NBA ready to me. Personally, and especially the system that he's going to and the team that he's going to, I think he's going to have an opportunity to flourish very early and showcase what he's great at. Now, obviously, what he needs to develop is he needs to shoot a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? As far as like shooting percentage, he definitely needs to improve on that. But I think that Jaden Ivey is going to be, he reminds me a lot of Dwayne Wade. And I don't think when Dwayne Wade got drafted, a lot of people expected Dwayne Wade to turn into the Dwayne Wade that we obviously know now. And I think that Jaden Ivey has kind of that same trajectory. Like he's going to come into it kind of a sleeper pick that a lot of people don't maybe necessarily think he's going to it's going to translate into the league, but I think he's going to be really great for the league with his athleticism and his speed alone. It's going to, push him a lot farther than some of the other rookies that were taken before him. But like I said, if he's able to develop a consistent jump shot, I think he'll be the sleeper of the draft, and we'll look back in a couple of years and say that, some of those teams that were picked before, or some of the guys that were picked before him, should have probably been picked after him, because, like I said, I just think he's just the most pro ready, in my opinion.
So last night we were on Real Talk, and we were talking about, obviously the draft was on, and for me, my question or concern was fit for him there with Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham apparently is a lot bigger than I thought. Some people have him listed at 6'6", 6'8", so I did not know he's that tall.
Yeah,
but I believe he won Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and he did that with the ball in his hand. Given Ivy's, let's say, developing shooting ability, how do you see them two playing together with the ball really being in Cade's hand and Ivy having to be more of a shooter than maybe a creator?
Hold on, did he?
I think they're probably going to switch roles. I think that they're gonna have, because Ivy is a lot shorter than Cade, so Cade can kind of go on the wing with the bigger wings and kind of stretch their offense a little bit more. And I think because Ivy can play point guard. He, I'm saying, in college he has shown that he's able to play point guard. So I think they're gonna switch. They're probably gonna have Cade play off ball, and which will work for him because he's gonna get a lot more scoring opportunities, and he's a better shooter than Ivy. So I would rather have him on the wing than I would have Jaden Ivey on the wing. So I think that they're probably gonna switch them, have Cade come off ball, have Jaden Ivey pretty much initiate the offense until he's able to develop to the point where he can shoot a little better. Because I think Detroit have some other pieces there too, to make them more of a complete team as well. So he'll definitely have enough time to develop into a wing if that's what they want him to be, or if that's what he wants to be. But I think starting out they're going to have him play a lot of point guard opposed to shooting guard, just because of the shooting struggles.
And I stand corrected. Marcus, you was right. Scotty Barnes on Rookie of the Year, not Cade. But I agree. I always get nervous when you take the ball out of a player's hands that plays best like that. And I think we saw that with the Lakers last year. And you see that with a couple teams when you have two ball-dominant guards. You look at Portland over the years. I think it's just a tough mix, especially for young talent. Houston had that last year where they have a dynamic backcourt, but players don't know how to play off the ball. And I think you see with the Warriors and other teams, the Spurs of old, that style of play is great. So I think it's going to be a coaching issue, a coaching concern, not an issue. I think the coach can figure it out, but that's my only concern with him. But I agree. I like him a lot. His talent, his skill set, his athleticism, I think is great for Detroit. I just don't know how those two will fit. So we would definitely see.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
For me, and I think Carmen, you kind of spoke to it. I am not a Chet fan. I don't think his frame translates. I see Porzingis. I don't see Sean Bradley. I think that's a little disrespectful when people are making that comparison. But I don't know if I see an impact player. And what Jabari Smith sitting there after Paolo went first, I know it sounds like that OKC from day one said we're taking Chet. I get that. But I just don't know that I like that pick when you had, I believe, a better version of him sitting there. And I think Jabari Smith is positioned to be in the best situation because he fits perfectly, I think, with what Houston's trying to do. Moving out Christian Wood with those dynamic guards, his ability to shoot, I think that's the best fit probably in the top five for me. And so I think he might have been the best potential talent long term in the best situation. I think what we'll also see with all of these teams, I don't think there was a bad player drafted, but the NBA is just competitive. When you look at the West, it's not going to get easier with Christian Wood going to Dallas, with Kawhi and PG coming back, with the Lakers. I believe they will make moves. So if you're Houston, I think you make progress, but I just don't know how much progress you can make because the Warriors don't seem to be going anywhere. Memphis should get better. Everybody seemingly should get better outside of maybe San Antonio, who was kind of quiet.
And you know some fellas, and my good friend the Sensei, check this out. The top 3 players, the top Bonchero, he's gonna have to be like the number 1 man in Orlando. Hogan's gonna have to be the number 1 person in Oklahoma City. Jabari Smith's gonna go to Houston where they already have Green. And what I'm saying is he got time to grow and go into the position, whereas the other 2 players are gonna have so much more expectation and pressure on them to be the man. Whereas Jabari Smith, I think going to Houston is going to be able to grow into himself to become a better ball player. Whereas the other 2 guys, they're going to be asked to do so much at such an early time. I think it's going to be more beneficial for Jabari Smith.
Gotcha. I'm with that. So we definitely will see how everything has panned out. But on this show, we have not got a chance to give our congratulations and celebration to the world champion Golden State Warriors.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Marcus, you're shaking your head.
Here we go.
I see some hate. I see some hate over there, Marcus.
You know me, ain't gonna be no hate. It's I predicted Golden State in 6.
You're right.
Got on. My only concern about that is I'm just so sick of these light-skinned brothers getting these finals. And nobody's gonna.
You're not about to make the case that Andrew Wiggins should have won MVP.
Nobody's gonna give Andrew Wiggins credit for the defense and the consistency that he had against Tatum. Like between him getting, I think he was averaging like 15 and 10, and playing great defense on Tatum. Like nobody else came along with Curry other than Wiggins, and it's like they just overshadowed.
Listen.
The final.
Listen, Marcus. I hear you. I hear you, Marcus. I really do. But listen, and I'm not even a Steph Curry fan, but we gotta be real. Like we gotta do eye tests, man. Like we gotta be honest about this. Give an honest assessment. Now, granted, I'll agree with you on this point. I do think that Andrew Wiggins was definitely the only person that really came with Steph Curry, like on both ends of the floor. Clay obviously is Clay.
Well, let's get that correct.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Whoa!
Right,
you said Steph only plays one end.
Yeah, Steph plays no defense.
Don't do that.
That is a misconception. Okay, so listen. He does play one end. However, in the finals, he definitely played both ends. So I can't say that he did. He like in the finals. He definitely played both. Now, everything else before that, I'm with you. But like I said, Andrew Wiggins definitely was the only person that came with Steph on both sides of the ball. Like I said, Clay wasn't himself. Obviously, Draymond struggled. Jordan Poole had his moments where he had a lot of highs and lows as well. But at the end of the day, Stephen Curry is the reason why the Golden State Warriors won that championship. Because had he not played out of his mind every single game, with the exception of one game and they still end up winning that game. So the exception of one game, if he does not play out of his mind, Boston was in every single one of those games up until the very last game 6 and towards the end. Like that was the only game that it was like a clear cut, like Golden State is going to win this. But other than that, those 5 games, Boston was right there. If Steph Curry does not go otherworldly and play out of his mind, we got a different champion. So Steph like I said, I hear you, I do, but we gotta give credit where credit is due. And that light skinned brother, he played up to a Finals MVP. Sure.
Listen, don't take away. I'm not taking away anything that you just said about Steph. He did what he had to do, but to me, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been Finals MVP. You go out there and get 40 all you want. Somebody has to come along with you.
43 and 10.
Yeah, somebody has to come along with you to win these games. And if Wiggins wasn't there to play defense like he did on Tatum, I'm not for sure Golden State even gets instance. I think Boston might have won in 5 if Wiggins didn't play the type of defense he played on Tatum.
So let me ask you before anybody else goes. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Since you got this.
Let me ask you this. So let's just take away everything that Steph did in the finals. and we just focally focus on Andrew Wiggins. Does Golden State still win if Andrew Wiggins plays the same way and Steph doesn't? And Steph plays like Clay played, pretty much?
Yes, because Boston.
What? No.
Y'all going off
No.
of Marquez. Hear me out because
Marquez, come on now.
This is where everybody falls into the trap at with Boston. You know, granted that they made it out the East, but Boston's never been consistent in none of the games that they played. Never. So if you ain't have going off, Jaylen Brown going off when he did, that allowed Tatum to play great in the game 6 against Milwaukee, or great or average in game 7 in Milwaukee. Matter of fact, I don't even think they should have got past the Heat like they did. They just had the Heat play like them, just better at who was more consistent with the Heat. So
you do know Boston swept Brooklyn.
Well, that's not saying much. You already know
what are we talking about?
I don't know.
So you already know that. That's not saying much to me. But when I'm saying when they got to the finals, that's not saying much that you swept Brooklyn. That's not saying much.
With the healthy KD and Kyrie.
Yeah, that's still not saying much.
Wow.
That's why they got swept. It's not saying much.
Oh.
So back to my Golden State point. Golden State, they didn't take much for Golden State to do what they had to do to win. That's why I picked them in 6. Because Boston
took Steph. What do you mean?
Boston's been inconsistent. They have no legitimate scores.
Even in that, it still went 6.
If Jaylen Brown gets hot, maybe. Tatum, inconsistent. Horford's not going to give you 20 every game. Marcus Smart, damn sure ain't no point guard. So he got exposed. So, like
I said, the games were still
open that Boston won.
Boston was up 2-1.
Exactly, and the games were still close games. Like I said, literally,
without third quarter, Golden State gets swept.
They lose.
No, they do. Lose. How they get swept when they won 2 games? When Boston only won 2 games.
And if Steph doesn't do what he did in all those third quarters,
or the first quarter, if Steph doesn't leave Earth, Golden State loses.
Golden State bench was in there when they was making runs in the third quarter.
They were feeding the ball to Steph. They're feeding the ball to Steph.
If you just take out game 5, whatever
43 and 10.
Game 4.
When Steph had a bad game 5, they were still up 20 in the third quarter without Steph scoring threes. So let's not act like Steph is like the main reason why these guys win. Like, yeah, Steph went out and got 40, but the other guys were still getting you 12, 15, 13.
And how do they get those shots?
It's a team effort.
So that's what I'm saying.
And that's but those 12, 15 points ain't difference making. Like 43 and 10 is a difference maker.
No, this goes back to my point because if Andrew Wiggins doesn't do what he do, maybe Golden State doesn't win in 6. Maybe
Jason Tatum just played bad.
Or maybe they lose in 5. Because if he's beating up Tatum like he did, then there's maybe they win in 7, Golden State, or maybe Boston wins in 5.
The game that Steph went off, he got 43. What did the rest of the team do? Nothing. He's the one that carried them to game 4.
Steph's 40 is only 40 out of 100 points. So somebody has to get you 60 more points somewhere.
That's like half.
We're not even focusing on the fact that like y'all keep saying the 40, like he had 43 and 10, like 43 and 10 rebounds as a 6'2" point guard. Like what?
Even in game 5, he still had other.
I already know Steph can rebound, but you have to understand that without Wiggins'
that's
contribution getting 16 or averaging 10, 12 rebounds, you're not getting that off. Plain and simple.
I think you are grossly overstating, and I agree. Andrew Wiggins was definitely the second best player.
Yes,
but
for sure.
He was not, by any stretch, the most valuable player. And I think that's the difference.
Because if you don't guard Tatum the way you guard Tatum, you probably still win in 7.
Tatum was self-check a lot of the time. He was missing open shots.
That part. The defense wasn't on Tatum. The defense wasn't all that great. He missed. Jason Tatum missed a lot of shots that he normally makes. The defense wasn't all that great to where it was deciding what he was making and missing. I think Tatum was in his own head, and I think the moment was too big for him because, like Ray said, he missed a lot of open shots that he normally makes. And layups in those other rounds, these are the same shots, the same looks, the same defensive strategy that he was getting. So it's the matter of make and miss. He missed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and some of y'all check this out. Tatum and Brown had 174 turnovers, And every team that won the game, they won points in the paint. And the games that the Celtics lost, look at the points in the paint that Golden State had. Did Wiggins play a big part? Absolutely. Did Gary Payton Jr. play a part? It's a team effort. You can't win with one person. But game 4, Steph came out and showed the real deal Holyfield.
Go ahead, Justin. I want you to get in.
Could Steph have done that against a team that wasn't Boston, though, in the finals? I mean,
I think
I feel like
what team was going to stop him?
I think so.
His career finals averages is greater than Bird and Kobe. He scores in the finals. This idea that Kevin Durant carried him and he's not been big in big moments is just not true.
Right.
He averaged 30 in this series. And Boston was the same team that swept and made KD look awful. People were ready to throw KD out the NBA after that Boston series. So their defense was the staple. We saw what happened with Jimmy Butler. He had 2 good games, but there were games he just went missing. Yes. Tyler Hero went missing. Giannis was super inefficient. Their defense was stout. Yep. And so the 6'4" guy that shoots from 35 is the one that was averaging 30 and giving them headaches.
Again, y'all overrating Steph on Golden State. I'm sorry.
That's
just how I feel. I'm not.
How do you overrate the champion? They won.
I'm not saying he's not a great. Y'all overrating Steph on Golden State. That's always going to be my thing.
Marcus, how can you say that?
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying he's overrated in this. I'm just saying he's overrated on Golden State. I'm not going to give him that credit like most folks want to just hand it to him. I always believe Clay was a driving force of Golden State.
This year? In this playoffs? No, they had a liability.
Listen, they had an easy run this series. I mean, this
easy go
playoffs. So yes. I'm not really going to go
easy.
There
how they beat Luka, they beat Memphis. And I don't want to hear John Morant wasn't there because all year we kept hearing they're 22-1 without Morant.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, they play better without Morant. You can't make that argument.
And then they lost Bane for 2 games essentially. So you can't make the argument like they had an easy run. Like this whole playoffs, I'm not discrediting anything.
They beat the MVP, Memphis, and Boston, and Luka. How's that easy?
I'm not discrediting anything that Golden State does. I'm just saying I'm saying Steph Curry is overrated on Golden State, and I'm going to stick to that fact.
Marcus, what has he not accomplished? Name one thing he has not accomplished.
Listen, I think Wiggins played the most consistent basketball throughout.
Yes,
throughout.
On defense,
maybe Steph shooting the threes makes it look sexy. I get it.
I mean, points are points. They count.
Come on,
now, here's the whole narrative that's been going on since they knew what the finals was. Steph got to win Finals MVP. Steph has to win Finals MVP. That's the whole narrative the whole time going in. But then y'all just overshadow. I think me personally, in my opinion, 2-way players. You just give me some offense and you can play defense on the other team's best player. That's what I'm always going to root for. That's why I always thought Klay Thompson was the best player on Golden State prior championship.
What?
Oh, man.
Are you talking about the KD?
Man.
Marcus, man.
You are wigging out right now.
Hey, Marcus, I'm going to say
because
listen,
there's a reason why.
Like Stephen A. Smith said, stop smoking the weed.
I'm not worried about what Stephen A.
Man.
I'm just saying, y'all overlooking it again too. Like, because matter of fact, I think Klay shoots a better 3% than Steph. Klay gets higher than Steph does, and Klay plays better defense before he got hurt.
What
you realize Klay scored was it 60 on 11 dribbles? You want to know how you get that many points on that few dribbles?
Because you have somebody that's accounted for the way that you have somebody that's being
you shoot the ball.
No, you have somebody that they are double teaming Steph. All Steph has to do is drive and kick. That's all they're not double teaming Steph. The greatest shooter in the NBA is not getting double teamed.
Here's the thing that y'all fail to realize too: that Steph doesn't even initiate the offense. Draymond Green does.
No, that's right. You're right about that. But still,
and why?
Okay, so therefore,
Steph.
Y'all giving Steph too much credit on
Marcus. Answer me this.
He's not a great shooter or anything. I'm just saying y'all overrating Steph.
It might not be.
Answer me this real quick. There we go. Marcus, answer this for me real quick, Marcus. When Golden State had Draymond and no Steph, do you know what draft pick they got?
They got number 1.
They got James Wiseman.
Right.
So you can tell me that Draymond starts the offense. When Steph wasn't on the court, they were the number one. They were the worst team in the league.
Yeah, but when they lost Draymond, they wasn't winning. And then when they lost Clay,
Draymond didn't play well this year. They were the number 2 seed this year without Clay.
Listen, when they lost Clay against Toronto, when he was out with the thing, they still had a chance against Toronto. And then Kevin Durant got hurt. So
Kevin Durant got hurt first.
Who did?
Kevin Durant got hurt first.
I thought Clay did.
No, Durant came in first. Kevin Durant came in hurt.
Okay.
Then he rushed back.
But Clay
got hurt again.
Clay was keeping him above water in the Raptors game until he got hurt. So once he got hurt,
you know there was a guy named Kawhi Leonard on the other side who's pretty good.
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Because when Clay got hurt, that's when Toronto went on this run. Plain and simple.
Well, when one team loses their 2 of the 3 best players and the other team is fully healthy, we saw what happened.
We're overrating the greatest shooter of all time.
You could be the greatest shooter, but I can say
Clay
Clay has the most 3-pointers ever made on his team.
Why?
Okay, so do you fear?
You can't say why when it's a team game. Clay's a better shooter.
Can't say why. With other people helping you get open shots, that matters.
Y'all make no sense right now.
No.
You make no sense right now.
You make no sense because if it takes me 11 dribbles to get 30 points,
and how he do it?
It doesn't matter how he did it. He only took 11.
It doesn't matter how he did it.
That tells me you're a better shooter than Steph.
Listen here. How you guys doing tonight?
Let me finish, Freddie. Let me finish.
Hey, Freddie,
the reason why he got 11 dribbles.
I love my boy Marcus, but I think he on something, man. I don't know.
Clay got 11 dribbles because Clay dribbles like a Republican. He can't dribble. That's why he got 11 dribbles to get all them shots off. He can't dribble.
We saw this playoff when Clay was trying to get shots for himself. It was hard.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
No, you just don't come back off of the Achilles tear.
Like,
he was back like 4 months.
But he could never dribble, though. That's the thing. Like, he got those shots off of those less amount of dribbles because he could never dribble. Clay's not a person that can put it on the floor. Clay is a great shooter because people are setting him up to get those shots off. Yeah. So if you have somebody like Steph who's driving, all Steph has to do really once they double him is drive and kick. If you're going to allow Klay Thompson to set his feet and get a shot off, then yes, he's going to shoot a higher percentage for the simple fact that the defense is not accounting for Klay the same way that they're accounting for Steph. That's the total. You have to guard.
Can I jump in this, please?
Baseline to baseline.
Clay went off the dribble, dunked it, and tore his ACL. That's all we need to know.
Hey, check it out.
What?
Since I
can I jump in this, please?
When Steph crosses half court, what happens?
You gotta guard him.
Everybody's eyes are on Steph.
And what happens?
But Clay shoots a better percentage than Steph does. So what are we talking about here?
Because he's getting the benefit of
the defense.
Steph is the benefit of Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. If you ask me,
Freddie, I thought he was wild, but Marcus, come on, Freddie, give it to us.
He took the cake.
Marcus, my brother, it's been a minute. I hate to do this to you, but I agree. It's the system that makes Steph look so great. Everybody wants
cocaine.
See, the basketball gods shut Freddie up. They knew better.
Good move.
Exactly.
Good move.
He came here with that nonsense. I just told y'all when Steph wasn't in the offense, they got the #1 draft pick because they were terrible. So don't tell me it's not the system.
Clay wasn't there neither. So
Clay wasn't there most of this year, and they was the #2 seed with Steph.
I'm not disagreeing with nothing y'all saying. Y'all not hearing my point.
Without Steph, they were the worst. With Steph, they were second best.
Without Clay, they was the worst.
And then Steph got hurt this year, and they plummeted, and they were almost in the play-in tournament.
Let me tell you what happened. He know that Clay wasn't coming back that one year. He purposely got his hand fell on and cried the whole year. It was out the rest of the season. That's what happened.
Oh my God!
Plain and simple. He knew he couldn't carry that team without.
Hey,
Clay.
since I come,
he looking like Draymond, my next running mate.
Since I checked that,
Before they got here, the past 3 years they was in the draft. Tell me I'm lying.
3 years?
Why?
It wasn't 3
Because
years.
Clay was out for 2 of them years. That's why.
Yeah, okay.
I'm confused. They overachieved last year, and then this year they were
And
second
then they got put out in a playoff round in the playing game
by a better team.
Okay, so you can call it what you want to call it. Steph is not care. Steph is overrated on Golden State. I'm not saying
Hell no.
Okay.
What?
That is asinine.
So,
and I'm not even a
I'm just
Steph
curious.
fan. I'm not
Marcus,
even a Steph fan.
Man, come on now.
If Steph is
Take it back.
overrated in Golden State, what should he be doing to not be overrated? If
Right,
what he's
I wanna hear
doing
that
is
one.
overrated, what should he be doing?
no.
Like, yeah, what
I'm doing,
would make
here's
him
what I'm
not
doing.
overrated?
I'm
What
giving
would-
other people more credit for the game that they played than I'm giving Steph for the games that he played.
But
And
they
so
don't have
that's
the
what I'm saying. So
opportunity.
what else do
They
you
don't
want
have
him
the
to do?
opportunity.
Can y'all hear me now?
The thing of it is,
Yes.
they don't have the opportunity to play play the way that they play without Steph. If you
Sensei,
take
hold
Steph
on,
off
hold
that-
on,
if
hold
you
on.
look-
Now that you
if
can
you
hear me,
take Steph-
I can
if you
explain
take
it
this,
now.
if you take Steph off that, if you take Steph off that team, and you say Andrew Wiggins go win me the
I
finals, is he
love
gonna
this
do
show,
that? No. If you say Clay, I need you to win me the finals off 11 dribbles, is he gonna do that? No. No, he's
No.
not.
Yes.
Ain't no
Sensei,
way.
hold on, time out. Hold on, y'all. We all listen. Or did you just Sensei? Did you watch the finals? If Steph Curry
Did
was
y'all?
one bad game away, hold on. Steph Curry was one bad game away from Andrew Wiggins to be the final MVP this year. Let's keep it real. Let's be honest. Number 2. Y'all remember the comments Charles Barkley made about Kevin Durant last week about he got to be the bus driver. You know who the bus driver is for Golden State? It's the system. It's the system that nobody has found to defend. It's a system that makes Steph Curry look so great. He need to credit Draymond Green for getting him as open as he be. Let's not sit and act like Steph Curry is people are rating this man the greatest point guard of all time. Pump the brakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's not the greatest point guard of all time. I don't agree with that.
Who made the system? Who made the system?
So if
Steve
you
Kerr.
put that system on the Sacramento Kings, does it work?
No.
Freddie, and
No.
Sensei, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
So,
good
Freddie,
point, Sensei.
explain this to me. When Phil Jackson had the triangle, right? Triangle's revolutionary,
Yes.
right? When he took that same triangle and tried to implement it in New York, what happened?
It didn't work.
It
because
didn't
you have to have
work.
players
When
to
you
have
don't have Michael Jordan,
Come on
when you
now.
don't got Kobe and
Come on
Shaq,
now.
I don't care what system you got. The Patriots have a system. When they took Tom Brady out that system, it looked real different. So
But
don't
you know
talk to
what
me
it's
about what the
But
system.
you know what it's about, Ray? It's
San
about the
Antonio has a
IQ.
system. San Antonio has a system. When you take Tim
It's
Duncan,
about
Manu
the
Ginobili, and
IQ.
Tony
Your
Parker out
IQ
that
isn't there,
system,
you don't
there are
play.
nobody.
He's right.
Ray, high five me virtually. High five me virtually, please.
I'm with y'all on that one. That's come on now.
All
Hey,
I'm saying,
at the
I'm
end
gonna
of the
keep
day-
saying this until y'all understand. Screw
At
the
the end
system.
of the day,
Okay, if you
at
want to
the
say
end
the
of the
system was
day-
it, perfect. But when Clay wasn't playing, Golden State has a bad record.
They were second in the West this year.
No,
And he didn't play majority of the games.
Yes, they were. They were number 2 all year until really Steph got hurt.
They was number 2 all year until Draymond got hurt.
That's not true.
What?
Okay, prove me wrong. Go look at it.
I know. I looked at it.
They
When
started
Steph
falling
got
when
hurt,
Draymond
they
was out.
plummeted at the end of the
Steph
year.
did not carry a team by itself because there's nobody dribbling the ball for him or getting them open. When Draymond
So
was
when
out
they
there.
won the first
So
finals,
are you telling me that Steph can't create his own shot and finish at the rim? That he needs Draymond
He
to do that?
can do that, but without that, Steph would get tired out too quickly if Draymond wasn't doing that.
when
ball.
has Steph ever got tired?
Steph is the
What is-
highest
come on,
endurance in the league. Like,
I
what
guess.
are we?
Okay,
I'm not
y'all
gonna
just don't want to admit it. The facts speak for
Woo.
itself.
I can't believe
Clay's
I'm
the better
Steph
shooter
Curry
on
like
Golden
this.
State. Clay's the better shooter. Clay's the better defender.
So why does
Yes,
Steph have
who?
more threes?
Before
Okay,
By a
so-
long
and
shot.
Clay put up
Okay,
the
so
most
let me-
3-pointers on Golden State before Steph did it.
He's the best
Anytime you
shooter.
can take, anytime you can score 30 in one quarter, that's
He
saying
did
something.
that one time.
It doesn't matter. I'm sure he could do it multiple times if he wanted.
Okay,
Has
so
it?
let
So
me-
why didn't do it?
Right, has
Listen,
he?
Clay is content with being the second fielder to Clay
Oh.
to Steph.
That
whatever.
sounds great because you ain't watching games. Clay shoots.
Okay, so
Clay
let
is
me
the
ask.
better shooter than Steph.
Let me ask y'all this: the 2016 Cavaliers, right? Who's the better shooter out of Kyrie and LeBron?
Kyrie.
But why is that? Okay, so he's the better shooter out of Kyrie and LeBron. Perfect, right? Okay, so Kyrie got a lot of opportunities that he didn't get before. Why is that? Before LeBron came.
Because LeBron.
Okay. Follow me now. So LeBron opened up a lot of opportunities for Kyrie to play one-on-one. Am I correct?
Yeah,
so Kyrie didn't have to do it
one-on-one.
Create space.
I mean, but Kyrie doesn't. But Kyrie didn't have to do as much work anyway because now we have somebody else that most teams are going to focus on that other guy, then they're going to focus on me. So that means I'm going to have somebody on the island majority of the time. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's okay. So follow me to the bay for a second. Follow me to go to state. Follow me to go. Okay, so follow me to Golden State. Klay Thompson, another example. Klay Thompson gets his shot off and has a higher percentage because he has somebody like a Stephen Curry that you have to worry about from the time that he passes half court. They gotta cover him. They're more worried about him than they're worried about Klay. Because Klay, if you could force Klay to put it on the floor, you got a good chance. You got a fighter's chance.
And
if you don't let him shoot open threes, then
just to interject real quick, Steph shoots 42.8% for three for his career. Klay's 41.7%. So this idea he's a better shooter, and that's with Steph having his worst shooting season of his career. So this idea is a better shooter. It ain't based on percentages. It ain't based on stats and volume. And it definitely ain't based off Steph shoots way more difficult threes than Klay does.
That's also with Klay missing 2 years.
Yeah, Klay missed 2 years.
That doesn't change the percentage.
It does.
It does because he didn't take shots.
If you force Klay to put the ball on the floor more times than not, it's gonna be a turnover. If you force Steph to put the ball on the floor, he's gonna go to the rim.
He's gonna turn the ball over too because he can't help but go behind the back, through the legs or something. He's gonna turn the ball over too. Man. Let's not act like Steph is not a turnover machine.
No,
Machine
is giving it a lot, but he definitely can. He definitely turns the ball.
A turnover machine is Russell Westbrook.
LeBron James turned it over as much as Russ this year.
He'll come after me. Let me not say that. Hold up.
Hey, Russ is looking for the fade at this point, so y'all might worry.
They came and skip real heavy, but
I won't skip.
Russ is looking for the door right now.
Jason Tatum's a turner. Like if you're an elite athlete, Luka, they all turn the ball over because the ball's in their hands. So it's not like this is exclusive to Steph. LeBron turns it over.
I never said that.
Kyrie, Kevin Durant, all of them.
I already know all this. What I'm saying is what I've been saying. Y'all overrating Steph on Golden State. That's all I've been.
No,
he's not a bad player.
Hey, Ray, we gotta move. We gotta move on.
I was gonna say we gotta move on. Ray. Freddie, you are here, so we will open up some Lakers discussions because the Lakers have a lot going on right now, and I know you're gonna say something crazy and outlandish. So I want to give you the opportunity to do that. Kyrie Irving, you've talked a bunch of trash about Kyrie Irving, and so I want to hear the fact that he's trying to go to LA. I want to hear what you have to say about Kyrie having LA as the most likely destination since you've been killing him all year. Freddie, the floor is yours.
First off, I want to say yesterday was a proud day to be a Laker. We go in there with no draft picks, Sensei. What did they say all year long, Sensei? Oh, y'all have no draft picks. Y'all have no assets. Y'all ain't got none. What that old shaking hand and Rob Pelinka and LeGoat James, what did they do? They found themselves in the draft, got them some young pieces.
Hold on a second, Freddie. Before you continue, I have to make sure that I heard what you said correctly. You said LeGoat James, correct?
I said I said Dave Darvin Ham
and
Rob Pelinka
and
Goat James.
Okay, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, go to what? How are you to go when another team and player had a dynasty while you was in the league?
Ray, don't make me not like you. We were friends before this.
That same dynasty, Ray. That same dynasty had
4 and 8 years.
Kevin Durant.
Freddie, please finish your assessment of the draft before I have to cuss Ray out.
And the championship that LeBron won as a Laker was a fluke.
Sensei, we was good. You a LeBron guy?
You got to
we can have that conversation another day.
Hey, hold on. Let me finish. We go out. We go get somebody out there, Michigan State. Go out there get Max Christie, a young kid. He's 19 years old because y'all said we was old, so we brought in youth. The kid is 19
LeBron gonna trade him.
He's a 3
Watch him out.
He's a 3-and-D guy. So something that we need. Then
yeah, the guy named
we not done there. We go sign 3 young Mo players. I'm gonna tell you, we got to get Scottie Pippen Jr. He's a point guard. We'll see what he's gonna bring. I think he have a good upside.
Russ ain't gonna mentor him. I tell you that.
Then we go get Shaq's son. I will say. We wouldn't go get Shaq's son. And to me, I think Shaq's son is gonna be the project because we don't know what he's gonna be like, because of the heart situation.
Hopefully
that's behind him, but
Freddie, let's just get to it. What are the Lakers gonna finish
we
next
go
year?
out and get the kid. Hold on, Ray. Hold on. I'm not done.
You're giving us all this nonsense. I just want to hear you say something crazy like the Lakers gonna win the championship. Go ahead and say that.
Then we go get this kid Cole. We signed this kid Cole. I don't know if anybody's seen his highlights. He's the white version of Kyle Kuzma to me. This kid, he's a power forward. He shot 41%.
Who you also traded?
This dude can score.
Ray, relax.
So I want to give a round of applause for
that part, Marcus.
Now to Mr. Kyrie Irving. Now to Mr. Kyrie Irving. I still say what I said, and I still mean what I said. I believe he's the reason why the Brooklyn Nets are where they are today. He's the reason why James Harden is gone. He's the reason why the Brooklyn Nets got swept by the Brooklyn.
That's why you the CEO ASAP.
He's the sole reason they got swept.
I don't believe he's the main reason. But I'm gonna say this: if he comes to the Lakers, and I don't see it happening, but if he do, Kyrie leave the BS in Brooklyn. We don't need that in LA. We already have street clothes. We don't need another part-time player. So you keep the BS in New York.
Listen, but you want to make sure he's going to show up. He might go back to Brooklyn one night, just out the blue.
If we did get him, let's not sit here and act like the Lakers won't be a problem. Because we've seen what LeBron, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving was together. Don't get me the preacher over here, Brother Ray.
I'm about to say, you sound like a reverend right now.
Real quick, Freddie, you do know that California had the same mandate that New York had, and if the cases go up, Kyrie won't be able to play.
Could you imagine what AD, LeBron, and Kyrie could do? We seen with Love. Hey, and we seen LeBron last weekend working out with Love. I said, LeBron trying to get the band back together, plus the AD addition. Right.
Can I interject, Ray?
Listen,
I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to sit back.
Hey, comment. I'm after you, my boy. I'm after you, comment.
I'm going to keep it real. I don't know what the hell Freddie's on. Let me keep it real, right? Kyrie Irving is not going anywhere. He's going to stay in. He ain't about to give up $30 million. You know what I'm saying? And number one. He
gave up 17 last year.
And I was just going to say that, Ray. He lost 17 million. Now he's about to lose 30 million. And quite as kept, the reason why KD and Harden went there was because of Kyrie.
Facts.
Kyrie is at home. He's from Long Island, Brooklyn, wherever you want to
Jersey.
He's from Jersey.
Whatever.
They basically the same thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I believe that Kyrie, first of all, he's not going to give up 30 million, number one. Number two, under the Players Association contract mandate, the Nets are going to make it sure that he has to fulfill X amount of this or that. They're going to guarantee him 2-year guarantee. And then if he comes back and plays, I think he owes it to the Brooklyn fans. He owes it to himself, and he owes it to KD, because KD went and signed a 4-year extension prior to the season, which they always supposed to do. KD's
Hold
the one
on,
that
Con
did.
Man. Hold on, sir.
No, I was at the Con Man, man. Relax.
Fall
I'm
back,
coming
Freddie.
to teach.
I'm keeping it real, Freddie.
I'm coming to be the bus driver as I always am. Now sit in your seat and buckle up. Anyway, like I was
Nice
saying,
bucket. They got seatbelts.
that's right. Safety first. Here's the thing, and comment. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to totally disagree, but at the same time, I think we have to look at it from this perspective that Kyrie is going to do Kyrie. So we could say morally what we would do, but that's not what Kyrie is going to do because Kyrie is going to be Kyrie. Like as we've seen, he's left money on the table. He's told, you know what I'm saying, they can't force him to get the vaccine. He's made it abundantly clear he's not with it. He missed a ton of games, missed a ton of money because of that situation. So we have to look at it in that perspective. Kyrie is in the mind of Kyrie. He ain't gonna do what's best for the team. He ain't gonna think about what he owes Brooklyn or what he owes this person. Kyrie gonna look at what do I owe Kyrie? What's best for Kyrie? What do I feel like is best for me? And if you followed anything closely as it pertains to Kyrie, you know that he loves Kobe. You know that he idolizes Kobe. So this is one of the main reasons why I think the LA thing just might happen for the simple fact of that. And two, ever since, well, I wouldn't say ever since, probably like a year or two after he left LeBron, he's been on an apology tour ever since. So there's a reason for that. I feel like in his mind, he feels like he has to right that wrong because he jumped that ship too early. Because he was being immature, he wanted to be his own guy, and he saw how hard it was when you have to be the leader and you have to be the focal point. So now, I think in his mind, it's like I need to somehow, I don't know, I may be reaching with this, but this is just how I assess it. I just feel like he feels like he needs to right or wrong as it pertains to the whole LeBron situation because of the simple fact that it ended in a way that it shouldn't have, just because of the fact that he was being immature. And like I said, the whole people trying to base this off of, well, he's best friends with KD. Okay, that's fine, but business is business. You don't you know what I'm saying? You don't think about friendship when it comes to business or what's best for you. Like that's fine, but he gonna do what's best for him. And even KD had an interview just today on his own podcast where he was like, I just want him to be happy. Whatever he does is cool. Like the friendship is gonna still be there. So I think KD is already in the mindset of he's probably not gonna be here next year. And that's cool. I'm gonna work with what I got, and I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Real quick comment. I wanted to get Justin, and Justin, we ain't heard from you in a little bit. What was I saw you shaking your head at what Sensei was saying.
Justin, go ahead, bro.
Kyrie is not gonna go anywhere where he can't get the max, in my opinion.
Thank you. Number one.
And has LeBron changed since Kyrie left Cleveland? No. And the whole reason for Kyrie leaving Cleveland was LeBron. That's who he put it on.
Justin, that's what the media put it on.
Nah, it's
well,
like
Kyrie came out and said some things, but then, like I said, he's backtracked since then and been like, "Well, I was immature and this, and this," because he wanted his own team. Basically, is the sole reason why he left Cleveland. But go ahead, Justin.
But here's something else, and I mentioned LeBron hasn't changed. LeBron has set the Lakers back 4 or 5 years for after he leaves. Because what do the Lakers have after he leaves? He has traded away all the young pieces that they drafted because he wanted his guys in there. When he leaves, his guys are going to leave. So,
I mean, Laker man, but not just LeBron.
But they won a title, right? And LeBron continued there.
Oh, that title was a fluke.
It's only a fluke. It's only a fluke because LeBron won it. If anybody else won it, it wouldn't have been a fluke.
No.
Yeah, that's not true. Because LeBron won a title in a shortened year, and nobody gives him grief for that.
But yeah,
here's the thing.
But that was okay.
Everybody played. LeBron was the only one that did. Was LeBron the only one that played the shortened year?
Here's the thing, though. I can almost guarantee, and we can't go back and change it because we don't have a time machine. But had LeBron not had that second off season, I don't think he would have been healthy enough to win that title, bubble or no bubble.
I'm talking about
4 months off helps in the middle of the season, especially when you had.
Hold on, Ray.
I disagree with that.
That didn't help Anthony Davis.
Hold on, Ray. Let me
I
talk,
disagree
please.
with that.
Justin, I'm asking Justin a question. At that
Sure.
point in time, who was the hottest team in the NBA?
The Lakers.
Yeah.
We
I
just
mean,
got
you-
done beating the Clippers.
So
We
we're
just
gonna
got
start
done
talking
beating
about what
Milwaukee.
teams are doing in January.
exactly.
I'm giving a point.
I mean, but what are we saying? They were the hottest team at January.
At that point, I mean, it's basketball. Are we really gonna sit here talking about injuries? What happened if Chris Middleton didn't get hurt this year?
And let's not forget, they went 6 games with a Miami Heat team that lost 2 of their best players.
All right.
And here-
What would have happened if Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant didn't get hurt against Toronto, playing against Toronto?
Yeah,
What
we
would
can't
happen then, sir?
like what are we talking about? Like what?
I don't know. I
The point I think he was trying to make was without that break, there's a great chance that AD would have not have been healthy. And without
Right.
AD, they don't win that title. Based on his track record.
If we're basing
Well-
it off of what ifs, then in 2015, Brown should have had a ring because if he had Kyrie Irving and if he had Kevin Love, Golden State probably loses. But we don't base it off of what if. The records, his finals record is still his finals record with the what ifs. So I don't want to hear none of that. That's cap.
Yeah, you're right. He's
Justin,
4 and
who's
6.
your NBA team, sir?
Come again.
Who's your NBA team?
My NBA team is the Hawks.
And
Oh,
if
that
the
makes
Hawks
sense.
won-
You
I
accustomed to
respect
losing.
that.
That makes
Nobody
sense.
would come out and say they're a fan of the Hawks. I respect that.
If the
Nobody
Hawks
would say
would have
they're a fan
won,
of
if the
the
Wizards would have won, if the 76ers
If
would
it
have
was
won, and
anybody
hell,
else other than
That's not
LeBron
true.
James led team,
That
it
is
would
not
have counted.
true.
It would have counted.
No,
Don't
and
It's
that's,
speak
just
for
like
me,
it's just like
Trey.
it's just like people saying no Golden State Warriors
will
rings
speak
no
to you,
count when they
Ray.
had KD. They still won the championship. Like
That's not the
it's a
same
big-
thing
still won
as
the- it is, but it is.
an
Because if
anomalic
any-
situation.
Bro,
And
if
that's why I
anybody
made that
else
word
other
up,
than-
but you know what I'm saying.
anybody else other than LeBron would have won it, it would have been like, oh, the conditions were so tough and they didn't have their families and there was no fans in the arena and they overcame all this adversity and it's because LeBron won. Let's keep it a
That's
buck.
not
everybody,
true.
It has nothing to do with LeBron.
Yes,
We
it
looked
does.
at the
Yes,
I
it
felt the
does.
same way about
The
Jamal
Wizards
Murray and
won,
Karis LeVert
if
and
the
Donovan
Hawks
Mitchell.
would've won,
Yes,
y'all would have been up and jumping.
How
up
you
and
keep
down.
telling us what we would have done? I'm
Because
telling
I
you,
know
we
you,
wouldn't have
Ray.
did that.
I know
Because people
you,
that
Ray.
hate LeBron, that's what they do. They don't operate off of logic. They operate off of emotion. It would have been like, oh, well, Bron couldn't win it, and he couldn't even win it in the bubble. He had all the advantages, and he had all the. Let him at a loss. Let him at a loss.
But what has he done the last
Let him at
2
a loss.
seasons? What has he done since he won the title?
Yeah, he
For the record-
flamed out the last 2
For the
seasons. You're
record,
right.
Douglas, I do not.
And that's
hate
what I'm saying.
Curry.
Had he
I do not hate
had he
Curry.
Outside of
not had
that
3
year, what has he
months
done
off,
in Lakers?
Okay,
Had he
so
not had that 3 months
the very
off,
first year,
you'll see
year
what
he
he's
got
about
there,
to do.
they were the number 1 or number 2 seed, I believe, before he got I think it was a groin.
I know you're not
injury.
about to use an injury excuse.
No,
Are you
I
talking about
am.
they were
I
the
definitely
They were
am.
number
So now we get to use
Yeah.
injuries as an excuse.
They were the 3rd seed.
Yes.
When he got
Why
before he
not?
put
Because
the
if
goal.
you're
They were
gonna
the 3rd seed.
Injuries
if you're
happen.
gonna-
Y'all just told me injuries happen. So don't sit here and tell me now
Okay, so
someone
if
got an
they-
injury, so
okay,
that's an
so-
excuse.
No,
Bro, so okay,
Because y'all
if
just got
injuries-
done saying,
if
get rid of the
injuries
what
happen
ifs.
and he's not playing, is it still his fault that they're failing?
But here's the
You
thing.
should have stayed healthier. Is it?
How?
I don't know. I'm
Exactly,
not
that
LeBron.
doesn't make any
but-
sense. That doesn't make
But
any
if
sense.
you get hurt, that's on you. That ain't on nobody else but you. You got hurt.
Okay,
You weren't there.
Okay, so but they're blaming their successes and the failures off the fact that he was either he was there or he wasn't. If he's injured, he's not available. Then how is it his fault that they're failing? He's not available to play. The best ability
is availability. If he's not
Exactly.
there,
Exactly
that's
how
on
that's
him.
fault.
Hey, Ray, the only
That's
thing
the
that
whole
I
point that
blame
I'm making.
LeBron
Like,
of this
what?
year is bringing in Russell Westbrook. That's the
Yes.
only thing I blame LeBron on. Because if we didn't bring Russ, we would have been in the playoffs too. And I really believe that. I believe
Okay,
that
you can have whatever belief system you want. It's a free country. That don't make it true.
Well,
And
if we
what
would
if
have
don't
brought
make it
in,
true either?
if we would have brought in a guy like
All I
Buddy
know is
Hield,
what happened. And they couldn't even make the play-in tournament with 3 top 75 players.
But back
That's
to
fact.
Kyrie Irving. But back to I
That
want to
is
make
fact.
this straight because people like to spread rumors and things. I want to make sure I say this and I want to make sure it's heard right. So Ray, get your camera out, record what I'm about to say.
Technology allows does it for me.
Because I know how you do, because you like to spread these little rumors and all that. I want to make
Not
sure
spread
it's right.
rumors.
If
I ain't
this
spread a
comes
single
out the
rumor. I ain't
horse's
said nothing
mouth,
but facts.
Okay, well, this is a fact.
A Freddie fact. We all know Freddie facts ain't no good, but go ahead.
I would be surprised if Kyrie Irving become a Laker. I believe Kyrie Irving is doing this. He's putting this out himself, trying to force the Brooklyn Nets to pay him the money that he wants. That's what I believe is going on right now.
That's true. I agree with that.
Uh-oh.
But
What's up?
Let's introduce the E40 of the network.
The E40 of the network. I can't.
Uh-oh.
What's going on, Rob?
I told you.
What's going on?
If I'm E40,
oh no,
A, B, C, D, E40.
Oh, wow.
I told you.
Hey,
Already,
Rob here was a Golden State Warriors fan a year ago, and all of a sudden, I mean, my bad, he was a Chicago Bulls fan a year
Freddie,
ago.
you can't talk about people switching teams.
Yeah, you show Kate. You show Kate.
Hey, Freddie,
Freddie,
hey, Freddie, look, I got GOAT on GOAT.
Let me see. Do it again. Let me just see.
I got GOAT on GOAT.
Oh, you smoke. Yeah, you out of here. You out of here.
Hey,
you out of here.
Calm down.
Hey, hey, I'm sorry, you mad because he makes it look effortless.
Woo! Talk to him. Talk to him.
You
know who Bron pick every All-Star game? You know who Bron go get every All-Star game?
Hey, you know, hey, quiet as kept. We know where Bron really want to go.
We do. If he could take the midnight train to San Francisco tomorrow, he'd do it.
It's not going.
You know, LeBron say a few things, and he have y'all people really hyped up. See, because if you watch the video, they asked him what playoff team could you see you play for, whatever. He said, well, let me say this first. I would like to play.
Any player will say that. Hell, why would you not want to play with Golden State?
But your arch nemesis, you don't say that.
But
you think Bird would say I want to play in Chicago?
People like y'all and Skip Bayless want to twist the narrative and create your own story.
No, it's not about twisting the narrative. It's about me actually listening to what he said.
And the fact of the matter is, they wouldn't have asked Larry Bird nothing like that back in the day. They didn't ask him like that.
He answered it, but the funny thing is,
and then he elaborated by talking about Draymond. He didn't stop there.
They asked Steph the same thing. Hey, Bron, want to come play with you? What you want to do? Oh no, we good. That's what you say. We good. We got what we got over here. And then he proved that by winning the ring and Finals MVP and Western Conference Finals MVP.
Well, E40, you want to trick him, my brother? You want to?
They didn't. They also didn't.
I'm not even gonna call you ABCDE40, Freddie. I'm gonna call you uncompleted Rob. You look like you was forming into me, and then it stopped.
Lord have mercy. But Marcus, I do want to get you back in because you were saying some stuff earlier that I don't know what you was talking about. But I appreciate the honesty. So with Philly next year, what do you see happening with Philly? You got Harden there. Kyrie's on the list. Philly's on the list for Kyrie. Granted, they seemingly ran Harden out of Brooklyn, but do you want Kyrie in Philly, or what should Philly do? Because they need another guy, and they got to get Harris and Thibault off the books.
If they bring in Kyrie Irving, you hear this from me right now, I would quit being a Sixers fan, and I would go straight to L.A. with LeBron if they did that.
Marcus is so funny.
I'll be right there with Freddie.
Marcus is funny.
But why would you go to loser L.A.?
Because if they talk about bringing Kyrie, then my team ain't about winning. They did that. Screw
Thank
that.
you, Marcus.
If they bring in Kyrie, I'm going right to LA. I'm becoming a LeBron James fan. Straight up.
Why would you go become a LeBron fan? I don't understand that part.
Because I can't go to Washington because they have nobody. You know, Steph is overrated to me, so I'm not going to Golden State. Who else? Brooklyn. You already know how I feel about Brooklyn. KD, he can't carry nobody, save his life because he's about $150 right now. So LA probably my bet. I can't depend on Kawhi, so I can't go to the Clippers. Definitely can't depend on Paul George because we up and down.
Just become a Mavericks fan.
I'm not even going.
I guess you can go to LA and watch the Warriors or Grizzlies raise a banner.
So he all right.
Go to Memphis and watch Derrick Rose the remix. I mean,
I'm going right to LA with LeBron. If they did that, if they brought Kyrie in as a Sixers fan, That just let me know that they're losing just to be losing at this point.
And since that we didn't hear from you, who's your team? It sounds like you're a Lakers fan.
Listen, I'm a LeBron fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I go where he go. I'm a wherever he at fan. That's what I am.
Oh my God!
Wherever he go, I go.
Show.
I appreciate
wherever he go, I go. Listen, wherever he say we packing our bags, then guess what? I'm packing my bag. And
I'm not mad at that answer. That was a beautiful answer.
Listen, that's what I do. Okay,
she's Savannah 2.0. She really
absolutely. I'm Savannah's sister. Y'all don't even know that. I'm just we related. And y'all don't even know.
Look, hook us up with some tickets. Hook us up with some tickets.
Listen, I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can, Rob. I promise. I'm doing the best I can. Trust me.
I got a hot take. I want to say, and I was trying to hold this for my show, Freddie Facts, but I can't.
Oh Jesus!
And I mean, it's a pretty generic. Everybody know it.
Y'all brace yourself. If y'all ain't got no shot of liquor, why y'all get one? Because he about to say some mess.
Listen.
Oh Lord.
This Brooklyn Nets experiment is one of the biggest disappointments, the biggest disaster, the biggest blow up in NBA history.
No.
The Lakers this year were worse.
No.
The Lakers this year were worse.
No. Listen. Kyrie Irving.
Oh, okay.
You left Boston and you said, you know what? I want my own team. Let's go. I want to go to Brooklyn. It's not Kevin Durant wanted to go to the Knicks. Kyrie Irving said, nope, follow me.
Did you see what the Knicks did last night? I wouldn't want to go there either.
I agree, Ray.
Okay.
I agree too, but still, it was definitely in the air that they wanted to go to the KD wanted to go to the Knicks.
They get fat, to put a fat man suit on to get out of Houston to come to Brooklyn. Let's create this big three where we have guys that can score. Hey, all of a sudden, James Harden lost some weight right when he got to Brooklyn.
Immediately.
And then put it back on when he wanted out of Brooklyn.
It didn't help him stay healthy.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I agree with Freddie.
All you hear is
it's low-key facts. It's low-key facts.
They could be in Brooklyn or they could be in
New York.
It don't matter where it was at. Kyrie was the X factor that they did not account.
Hold on. I got something better. If Kevin Durant was LeBron James, everybody and their mama would be going after LeBron. Saying,
that's a freak,
Kyrie Irving, you not being the leader? They would say this. Because you know how I know, Ray? They said it this year about how, you're supposed to make Russell Westbrook better. But they don't want to hold Kevin Durant account.
You're the reason Russ is there. That's why there's criticism. You brought him in.
Okay, but then Kyrie's the reason KD is there. It's the same thing.
Technically, they wanted DeRozan, but
the situation's reversed though.
But it's still the same thing.
If KD brought Kyrie, then I can see the comparison. But if that wasn't the case,
Ray,
this is
LeBron's
first
Kyrie
mistake as a GM.
So you can't expect him to lead Kyrie if you're just telling he followed Kyrie.
Ray, this is LeBron's first mistake as GM.
When has Kevin Durant ever stepped up to be that leader? Can somebody ever tell me a time and place and when?
He doesn't. That's not him.
Joe didn't tell Westbrook about himself.
3 years ago,
nobody can. LeBron, Oklahoma City, KD, Russ is Russ.
Let's be real
about himself either. When he talked about we don't need a coach.
That part.
Yeah.
So why is that a KD problem? How did KD get roped in
there? He's the leader.
To be the alpha.
Because
he's
but he's not. Nobody here thinks KD's an alpha.
Score in the NBA.
Nobody thinks that KD is an alpha.
He act like you don't.
No, they didn't.
Golden State did.
No, they did. Nobody thought KD was the alpha on that team. He was the best player on the court.
It wasn't the fact that he can score easily. It was the fact that he knew that Steph would comply. Steph is not going to give him problems. And he thought Kyrie wouldn't give him problems. But he didn't realize Kyrie don't just look at him just as a friend. Kyrie sees him as his subordinate.
As an equal,
He don't think. He told KD, me and Bron won a ring. I'm a winner like you.
That's what
I still don't understand how this is a KD problem.
Because KD is supposed to be the leader of this team, and he did not step
But he's never been that. So why all of a sudden he's supposed to be the leader?
Because if you've never been the leader on the team, why would you leave Golden State?
Because you want
to play for your own team.
Hold on,
don't want to step up.
You can still want your own to do it separately.
That's all I'm saying. We can't keep making
excuses. Wasn't the whole reason for Kevin Durant leave Golden State is because he wanted to win with his own team?
His own team. He wanted to respect Steph.
That doesn't mean he's the alpha on that team. That's two different conversations.
No, because he wanted to be the alpha. That's the thing. When he was in Golden State, he was never going to be that.
No, he did not. If he wanted to be, if he wanted to be the alpha, he went to the Knicks.
He said he left OKC because he was seeking validation. What validation means is you want to be seen as a peer of a LeBron caliber, of a Kobe caliber, of a Jordan caliber. And you know what all those people have in common? They are leaders. They are alphas. So that means
that is not what KD has said. I just want the ball.
So then why would you leave somewhere and you want to be validated somewhere
you
else?
Can want to be validated as a champion and a player and not a leader. That's not the same thing.
They don't go together. They don't go together, bro. They don't go together. They don't go together. If you want to be validated as a top dog and a champion, you have to be the leader, period. Which is why he left Golden State, because Golden State belongs to Stephen Curry. They were never going to see KD the way that they were never going to. They were never going to see KD the way that they see Steph, and that's why KD.
And they should have.
I'm going to leave because I want to be seen the same way that Steph is. And what comes with that, if you want to be seen the way Steph is one of two things: being a leader and being a champion of your own roster. You were not going to do that in Golden State, so you go to Brooklyn with Kyrie in hopes to do that. They failed. It was a flame out.
I can make the argument, why would they go right for KD after they lost to LeBron? Why they go straight for KD? KD's the alpha.
He's not an alpha.
I'm gonna tell you why they
great player,
brother. Hey, Marcus,
great player is not an alpha.
Hold on, Ray. You know why they went out to KD, Marcus? Because KD couldn't beat Bron by himself, and the Warriors knew that Bron was coming. Because let's be real, if Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving was healthy the first time, Bron would have been 2-0 against them the first time going around.
All right, fellas, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, what up, Kyle, man?
Don't you know how I am? I'm off the hook. I know how I am. We all know how I am. Hey, but we got Justin there. I want to hear what he got to say.
Wait,
I thought you was gonna say something.
Yeah,
y'all know how I am. I'm off the hook.
Well, go ahead, Justin.
If I understand where everybody's coming from, but if KD wanted to do it with his own team, why follow Kyrie, who is making the Nets his own team? Because now you've got a situation where Kyrie in the net situation is Stephen Curry, the person who KD is taking a back seat to. And then you bring in James Harden, who he's also going to take a back seat to. So,
wait, KD is taking a back seat to Kyrie and James Harden?
As a leader.
Everybody's making the argument that KD is not a leader.
James Harden's been that great of a leader.
No,
since Kyrie Irving's been that great of a leader. So what are we talking about right now?
They're
the reality of the situation.
They've been better leaders than KD has, because KD takes a back seat to them. He takes a back seat to everybody. He took a back seat to Westbrook.
How does he take
took a back seat to Curry?
He's taken a back seat his whole career.
Yeah, take a back
as far as leadership. We're only talking about leadership.
Do y'all really think in his mind he took a back seat to Curry?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Right.
Do y'all think that?
No.
Yes.
So Rob, you're a Warriors fan.
To take a back seat, what's the point?
He knew he took a back seat. That's why he left.
That's what I'm asking. If he knew he was going to take a back seat, what was the point in him following? Because that's what y'all said. He followed Kyrie to Brooklyn.
Because
that's they're both.
When you follow somebody,
time out. It's nothing wrong with a player following somebody.
Let Justin finish. Let him finish. Let him get his thing on.
No, there's nothing wrong with following anybody. But if he's leaving a team to be a leader somewhere, why would you follow someone to a team who says in his own right, hey, I want to go somewhere where it's my team. I'm going to the Nets. So you're following someone. You're not leading someone to the Nets. You're following someone to the Nets.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I think the thing of it is with this is that they were both free agents, and they had been talking about linking up together for I think a year or two at least prior to them actually being free agents. KD said, "Hey, I'm thinking about the Knicks." Kyrie said, "We should go to the Nets." He said, "Okay, cool." But in the back of KD's mind, it's I'm still gonna be the guy because let's be honest, KD is at that point. By a lot of people, not by me, of course, but a lot of people, he was considered the best player in the world. But it's still giving him the same opportunity. But right,
that's not a leader.
Can I finish? But they were still, in his mind, it was still the validation of I want to have my own team. I want to be able to be responsible for the reason why my team was in championship because he was not he was a big part of it, but he was not the sole reason. Everybody still looked at Steph. They still highly touted Steph, even with the Finals MVP.
That's not true.
Steph. Yes, it is. Yes, it
is. As a basketball player, everybody said KD was better than Steph as a ball player.
Bro, no, I live in Sacramento, which is up the street, which down the street from the Bay. That's not facts. When you go to the actual Bay Area itself, you would understand that. Yes,
that's because it's the Bay. It's Steph's team.
No, it's not just the Bay. Though.
The Finals MVP, the guy that hit the shots was Kevin Durant.
Bro. He was the Finals MVP. He was the best player. But when you break it down to the consensus of it, everybody still looked at it as Steph and then KD because Steph is homegrown. He went through all the trials and tribs with the Warriors. KD did not. KD joined along. They had already won before him. So even though he was the best player,
y'all won after
best player versus leader in team. They're not the same thing.
Can y'all put up? Can you put up Douglas' comment?
No, they are not.
Like Douglas said, like Douglas said, if you're the best player, it's direct or indirect. It comes with the territory. Yes, it does. You cannot deny that fact. You can't.
But you have to step into a leadership role to be a leader.
And he's never done that anywhere.
So if he's not a leader, how can people say that he was the best player in the league?
They're not the same thing.
They are the same thing.
No, they are not. You can be a phenomenal player and a terrible leader.
A lot of intangibles, and people was already saying KD was better than Steph. KD was a top 10 player all time. KD, one of the most prolific NBA players that we've ever seen. Being a great player and being a leader goes hand in hand.
No one has ever. When has anybody said Kevin Durant
in that case,
Rob, answer me this. Rob, answer me this. Rob, answer me this. Is KD a great player?
He is.
When has KD ever been talked about as a great leader?
Never, and that's the
problem. So then you can't tell me a great player is a great leader.
So what I'm
there's a bunch of great players that weren't great leaders.
You've never been seen as a great
punching
leader.
your teammates is not a great leader.
Exactly what Rob said. Just say it again. Rob, say it again.
Argument.
Rob, say it again.
Let me rephrase this for y'all. Reason why they think Kevin Durant,
but what I'm saying is Brooklyn doesn't work
is the best player in the world because they kept trying to steal the torch from LeBron. Same reason why they kept saying that about Kevin Durant.
But when LeBron was considered the best player in the world, he was a great leader, was he not?
No, he's not a great. Kevin Durant's not a great leader.
No, I
just saying he was an alpha in the sense of going to Golden State and winning Finals MVP. Because Steph and Draymond went crying to him, so that makes you an alpha in your own sense. If other alphas looking to you to come save them, however you want.
I don't think people think Steph's an alpha. Draymond is the leader of that team. Most people say that.
Steph's not an alpha.
I don't think most people think he's an alpha. No,
that's
why people criticize him,
bro. That's Steph's team.
Steph's not an alpha.
Y'all are. I don't understand how y'all are not getting this. Just because you are the best player does not make you the leader.
You can't.
Lou Alcindor.
They go together.
That's
I hear what you saying, Ray. But I said
that's exactly. That's Steph. I mean, people love Draymond. People love Draymond in the intangible sense. They love Draymond because he does the small things and he's the gritty. in your face, talking trash, gonna do the dirty work. They love Draymond for that reason. But when you break it down to the most simplest science, that team belongs to Steph. The Bay Area belongs to Steph.
That is not what we're talking about.
Ray, here's your equation. The Bay Area loves Draymond. The world loves Steph. That's Steph's team.
The Bay Area loves. I mean, they love.
Being the leader does not. There are different ways to lead. That does not make you and say you have an alpha personality. You might be the best player. You might be the leader, but that does not make you an alpha. Alphas are built different. And KD has never been anywhere where he was. I don't want to get off on Steph because I love Steph and I don't want to talk bad about Steph. I told y'all I think he's the greatest point guard ever. So that's how I feel about Steph.
He's second.
Okay, we can debate that another day. We can debate that another day. Kevin Durant.
Maybe fifth.
Come on, Marcus. Don't talk out the side of your neck now. Go ahead.
Maybe fifth. I'm not.
Don't do that. There's one unanimous MVP in the history of basketball.
Ever.
One,
you know how I feel about MVPs. That's like the
right, Marcus. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody else. I'm not talking to you.
You could be an NFL.
He's not an alpha.
Favorite.
Marcus, the only person that can make an argument that's better than Steph is the one and only Magic Johnson. Other than that, there's no other.
And it's amazing what you can accomplish when you play with the greatest scorer of all time for your entire career.
It is, and that's why I say who can.
And you play with 6 Hall of Famers almost your whole career. It's pretty easy when you get to put up stats.
But let's not get off.
So who's the leader of the Brooklyn Nets? Kevin Durant's the leader. Who's the leader?
Kyrie Irving is the leader. He's been the leader, which is why there's been dysfunction.
It's Kyrie, and that's the problem.
Kyrie's still the leader. That is the problem. That's the problem.
They do better with Joe Harris being the leader.
He led Kevin Durant to Brooklyn. He's the leader.
They do better than Blake Griffin being the leader.
I've done shit this 3 times.
I would rather LaMarcus Aldridge be the leader.
And they will lead you nowhere either because they've never won anything either.
Y'all know what? Y'all know who the leader is? Y'all want to know who the Brooklyn Nets leader is for real? DeAndre Jordan.
Steve Nash.
That's the leader right there. DeAndre
Jordan. He came mid-season. He about to be gone too.
The moment Steve Nash checked Kyrie after he said they need a head coach, I knew it was all going to hell. I said,
in a team sport, the best player does not have to be the leader. And if y'all play team sport, y'all know that.
All right. Fellas, can I interrupt 1 minute?
Go ahead, comment.
News just came out. New York Knicks will offer Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $100 million contract.
They have to.
Yeah, but that's not news. I mean, it's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, but then that's not.
And they'll overpay for him.
That's not smart. That's not smart. I mean,
they basically have Jalen Brunson.
What they gonna do with Julian? With my boy, because
Julius is gone. Julius will be gone. They got to get him out of there.
Randall don't want to be there at all.
No,
all they doing is trading.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What Ray don't want to happen might just happen. Your love and behold, Bradley Beal, he might be gone.
He coming to
Freddie. That's what I'm saying. Freddie, you don't listen to me. I've said I want Bradley Beal to go.
Might lead the Sixers, right?
I've said, hold on. Let me speak to Freddie. I've said for 2 years now, I want Bradley Beal to leave because he's given us everything he can give us. I want him to go somewhere else and win. I'm not going to be upset if he leaves. He's done. Same thing with John Wall. They did the best they could while they were here. Go somewhere else and win a chip. I'm good with that.
You're a Wizards fan?
You know what? John Wall got
absolutely
the best job
DC all day.
I wish I could make
it makes sense now.
Just watching everybody play.
Bill coming to the Sixers.
Hey, John Wall is a true winner.
I mean, I'm not going to Bill as a fan. Like, I'm going to always be a Wizards fan. But Bradley Beal, wherever he goes, I wish him the best, though.
Freddie, hold on. So wait a second, Freddie. Did you say John Wall has always been a winner?
He's a winner.
He's a true winner. He's been sitting down collecting that check.
That boy ain't hooped since I was probably in high school.
That's kind of like saying your backup quarterback is a winner, though.
Listen.
Honestly, well, I mean, John Wall definitely won at life because if you ain't got to play and still make millions,
hey, hold on.
But it's even better than that. John Wall wanted to play. They wouldn't let him play and still paid him.
Hey, we ain't even mentioning the fact bro just opt back in.
Why would you not for $40-something million? I'm not back in.
Where do I stand?
Where do
I don't know
sign,
who
boss?
makes easier money,
Did y'all
him
hear
or Floyd
Robert Lincoln
Mayweather.
talking about, oh, we don't know if he can walk back in or not? I'm like, come on, bro. You know you can go out back in.
We getting Bill. We won the championship this year.
Hey,
This
boy,
I'm gonna tell y'all one thing.
Long as y'all don't send us Harden, we'll send y'all a bill.
Just say, if I see Brody opt out, I'm calling you and I'm gonna say, oh, we free.
Hey, Freddie, if he opt out, I'll buy your
He's
flight
dumber
out
than
here, my
Dennis
boy.
Schroeder if he opts out.
We can
Really?
come celebrate. We can come celebrate
Hell
together.
yeah.
I'll buy your flight, my boy.
Hey Ray,
Drink
hey
some
Ray. I
death,
said
too.
if blowing a bag was a person, it'd be Dennis Schroeder picture in the dictionary.
I'm trying to tell you.
People better wake up and learn.
Y'all know how you do a
You
bag
better
like
take that money.
Hey, that
John
boy
Wall
blew
and Russell
$80 million,
Westbrook.
boy. Lord,
I think he lost the blonde hair and went to his head when he blew that back.
I be wanting to cry every time I see it. Like, boy, you
That's
blew
what we
$80
do.
million.
Oh,
boy.
man.
And Ray just don't want to face the music.
What music am I not facing?
You know the Lakers gonna reload no matter what.
Just like last year and the year before that?
Yep. But this time we're gonna do it right. We got a coach that's gonna push people buttons.
A coach that's never been a head coach. Right. Okay, cool.
But guess
Russell
what?
Westbrook.
Guess what? He didn't cheat the system like Steve Nash did.
He's going to push everybody's buttons but LeBron's buttons because LeBron.
Yeah, he better remove himself from the keyboard.
Oh shit!
LeBron and Russell get coaches fired, so you better watch what you say.
I know. I felt so bad for Frank Vogel.
Yeah, he got a raw deal.
He did.
But that's what happened when you're dealing with those two personalities.
He did. Hey, he won the ring, and they got that man up out of there.
Y'all don't want to talk about it, and we way past time. But we can. LeBron as a leader is questionable, but we ain't gonna go all there.
What? What?
Did I stutter? As a leader of men.
Listen. Whatever drug that you are on right now, I suggest you put it down.
As a leader of men, he destroys every team he goes to.
Say no to drugs. Say no to drugs.
I agree.
He's only one at every team he's gone to. But I mean, sure.
Again, I keep telling y'all, you can win and be successful in life and be a terrible leader. We don't want to get into politics, but there's a bunch of politicians that are leaders that are terrible at leading.
Hey,
well, why Kyrie want to come crawling back?
Justin. Say, hold on, I got something to say.
He got 6 options. He got 6 options.
Rob got something to say.
No, that's what I'm telling Justin. I'm telling Justin. That's what he should say. Go ahead, Justin.
Here's the thing with that, and I agree that LeBron is questionable as a leader because here's the thing: where did he have to go to win? Yes, he won games, but where did he have to go to win a championship? He had to go to Miami with a leader in Dwayne Wade to win a championship.
So okay, that's fine. But in those first 8 seasons, in the first 8 seasons in Cleveland, who was the leader?
LeBron, unquestionably.
My whole thing is that argument that y'all making.
What was his finals record? What was his finals record in those years?
Let me ask you this though: like, what's the harm of somebody?
Until he went and got with a leader, how many championships did he win?
What's the harm of somebody fulfilling their contract?
He's a bad leader.
Going to play.
He's a bad leader because he gets coaches fired. He trades first-round draft picks. He alienates teammates. He calls them out in the media.
I want to know what's the harm.
He was such a great leader. Kyrie left.
Somebody fulfilling their contract.
He was such a great. No, Kyrie left because Kyrie said the reason why he left. It wasn't because of him. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I remember what Kyrie said in the moment. Before Kyrie had a bad experience elsewhere, I know what Kyrie said. Now, in hindsight, and what happens in a lot of toxic relationships, you start to second guess yourself when life doesn't go as great, and now you want to run back. But you forget how toxic it was when he was there.
If that's the case, because I've been listen. If we're gonna talk about toxic relationships, if that's the case, I'm not gonna go on a public scale and apologize and say, "Hey, well, I had to realize how hard it was to be in your position." I'm not gonna say that if the relationship was that toxic.
Two things can be true.
I don't want to be anywhere near somebody, or I don't want to revere or call and apologize to anybody that was toxic to me. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to you. I'm probably going to block your number because if it was that toxic, there's no reason for me to speak about you ever again. So the fact that he took his
that's not their situation. You have to talk about it.
No, it definitely is because the fact that he took time out of his public
whatever interview it was at the time when he was still with the Boston Celtics, and he said, I had to call LeBron James and apologize to him because I now realize how hard it was to be a leader.
So he was toxic too. Got you. So it was two toxic people in the relationship.
Hey, Ray, can I tell you something honestly?
It's the person who realized that he was the toxic party and the other person wasn't. That's totally.
How you think Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and all them feel about Bron?
Hey, Ray,
they ain't spoken negative word about Bron, so I feel like they feel pretty good about it.
They weren't around him long enough to get to know him.
Hey, Ray,
they won a championship with him. They won a championship with him.
Kyrie really apologized to Bron because he realized he ain't winning nothing else without him.
Thank you.
That don't mean he was a great leader.
Yes,
Bron
he's a tremendous.
It could be the best of the worst situations available.
Tremendous leader.
Full circle.
Bron makes the decision that most people won't make. A lot of people want to point
and those decisions can be wrong.
A lot of people want to
point he made the decision. Rob,
a lot of people
he made the decision to bring Russell Westbrook in. Was that the right decision?
Look at Timothy.
Say what y'all want to about what Bron did.
Okay, you just said
Bron made the decision that most leaders need to make when it's time to make hard decisions.
And he made the decision to bring in Russell Westbrook. Was that the right decision?
What happened? He won a ring. So
as a great leader, you're not allowed to make a bad decision.
Bro.
I didn't say he couldn't. I said he has a history of a bunch of bad ones, in my opinion.
Okay, that's your opinion.
I can't really say that, man. Bron is a great leader. Players love LeBron.
The ones on his team,
they love LeBron. The people that don't like LeBron don't like the pressure that come with playing with a player like LeBron, because you realize when you play with a LeBron James, you're expected to win. You can't be mediocre.
Name a player that's left him that's had something bad to say.
Then why has he not won the last 2 years?
Because he's had a bunch of bums.
Because of injuries, Justin, bro. Come on, man.
Because he's sent.
He had bums.
Also, hey, real quick,
injury-prone players on this.
Let's not throw out the fact that Bron is powerful. He's not the guy you start taking shots at when you leave. Let's be honest that exists in the NBA. What do you mean? Why not?
And y'all still talking about
you think if an average player comes out and I got one for you. Look at Delonte West after he did LeBron wrong.
So we're blaming him.
Hey, all I'm saying is one person stepped out there and disrespected the king, and look at him now.
Hey, Ray,
that's on LeBron.
Ray, that was a Kyrie statement you just made.
I'm just saying what it was.
That's on LeBron.
I'm saying what happened.
The person that should be thanking LeBron the most is Booby Gibson. He's the luckiest bug in the world once he played with LeBron to get with Keisha Cole and have a baby by her.
And look how he did it. Keisha Cole was so great. Keisha Cole so great. Why don't nobody want her? And this ain't nothing to do with basketball. But if Keisha Cole was so great, why Antonio Brown do her like he did?
Okay, because
is that the argument we making now? We gonna bring up Keisha Cole,
and she keep picking people like that, but they ain't got nothing to do with basketball. So we gonna get back on track. But don't act like Booby Gibson. Like don't do that.
I'm gonna say a word. First of all, Ray,
I need a drink after this podcast because the blasphemous on this podcast. I need a drink. I need a strong one on the rock.
I'm here. You
straight no chaser. That's how we give it up. I ain't lying. I ain't lied yet.
Can I say
I ain't lied yet?
Can I say something?
You know what, Ray? I can't say you lied. You just told your truth.
Hey, first of all,
Ray Stradamus has spoken.
You letting him off the hook.
First of all, I want to thank y'all for coming on. We don't have this many people on Friday night on Fast Break, and I appreciate y'all coming on.
We didn't lit it up.
This is the. I ain't gonna swear. But this is the guy.
I'm finna follow Ray just to block him.
You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all tune in every Friday night.
And since the first half of the show, we was together in lockstep, and then you went and jumped off the deep end with this nonsense, and now we here.
Man,
I hope y'all, man. It's a great show,
I'll be back.
I hope y'all come back every Friday night, and let's do this.
Absolutely. Freddie jumped on. Freddie, we ain't even had to hear from Freddie tonight in this crazy takes because everybody else was talking crazy.
Oh, he's coming on.
He's
He's coming
Except me.
on.
Ray, you've been
Except me.
talking reckless all night.
Yeah, he's been
Ray,
talking
it started
reckless
with you.
since.
You've been talking reckless,
No, I
bro.
started with Marcus talking about
Right, it was Marcus. It wasn't me.
Oh yeah, it
Well,
was
Marcus
Marcus.
was
And then it
out of
was
his mind when he said the 76ers was going to win the title. But
That wasn't no lie.
no, that you reckless for that one, bro. You shouldn't even talk that reckless. We
I
all
would
know
say-
you hearing it here now.
Okay,
first.
Rob,
Golden
I'm
State
gonna
is
ask you,
repeat.
Rob. As of
Golden
today,
State
who's
is
more
gonna
likely to win a chip next year, Philly or LA? The Lakers.
Neither one, because Golden State is going to repeat. I'm just letting you guys know now.
I don't even respect your Golden State opinion, Rob, with that Michael Jordan shirt on and a Warriors hat. Kind of.
So, Rob, how are they going to play?
I don't really. I told people. I said it earlier. I love the Bulls by default because I'm from Chicago, but I don't really like teams. I like players. Kobe was my favorite player. Now
Mine
Steph
too.
was my favorite player.
I agree. Me and Rob, we close in that aspect, but Rob, they can't play 5 max players, and Jordan Poole wants to get paid. So
Jordan Poole's smart. He ain't going nowhere yet. He understands. He still needs some learning to do.
Poole party.
Yeah,
and you don't want to let him become unrestricted next year.
He still got some learning to do from the GOAT.
I agree, but he still want to get paid.
Yeah, no, I'm calling Steph the GOAT because he's the great. Well, I'm gonna call him the Shawoke.
The best point guard of all time is cool. You can
I
say
don't know
that.
how you want to pronounce.
Talk about the
that.
greatest
best point guard. Who's the best point guard of all
No,
time?
he's the greatest shooter of all time. That's why I call him the GOAT.
Hold on, who's the best point guard of all
Freddie,
time?
I've already said
Isaiah
this.
Thomas.
You be listening?
Isaiah Thomas.
Magic Johnson.
Who is the best point guard of all time, Ray?
The current Finals MVP.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Yeah, I think we overran this show by at least 36 minutes of nonsense.
That you got to get drug tested to be a part of this network.
Send the drug test, Freddie. Send the drug test.
Steph
Yeah,
got
you need to
to
be.
prove before I say he's better than Magic. And that's my favorite player, and I gotta admit that.
Put Steph on that Showtime Lakers team with his ability to shoot.
Hey, I don't care what you say. The fact that Magic Johnson stepped into the center role on his rookie year and won the ship, it says enough.
How many games did he play center? How many games did he play center?
Bro.
How many games did he play center?
That man played literally one
And how many times did he do that?
He's not a point guard.
It don't matter, bro.
It do matter.
Do that.
People act like he did that his whole career.
Magic would have put some hands on Steph. He would have made Steph work.
The fact of what
He couldn't keep up with Steph. Are you kidding me? You think Magic was going to step off the dribble?
What do you think he would have done against Gary Payton? Gary Payton would have locked that ass up.
Bro.
Gary Payton never had to guard nobody that far away from the basket that could actually hit the shot.
He would have locked him up.
Man, please. Y'all tripping.
Michael Jordan would have locked him
Magic
up.
got fired.
Okay, Mike. So we got to go to Michael Jordan as the one that's going to stop Steph, right?
You even got to go that far. You can go back. You can go back to damn near Matthew Dellavedova if you want to.
All right, bro. Don't talk.
And Matthew Dellavedova, and we ain't heard from Matthew Dellavedova since. He got all them cramps running around chasing Steph after a couple games, and we ain't heard from him since.
I just showed
LeBron some love, but we got to remember, he has never beat Steph in the final. I mean, only that one time when they came back that 3-1. So just that one time, Steph owns the record against LeBron. That's all I'm saying.
And it's ugly when you really look at it.
Ugly in the finals.
But guess what? Next year when we meet in the Western Conference Finals, we gonna say LeBron. Steph. You remember me?
You remember?
Okay, I was waiting for it, Freddie. I was waiting. Freddie, I've been waiting all night.
Bro, y'all not even gonna beat Dallas.
Because y'all trying to catch up to us. It's funny how I'm saying y'all, because you're beginning when I first met you. Oh, it was Chicago this, Chicago that.
Guess what?
Chicago.
He's already explained it. Freddie, he already explained it.
Guess what, Freddie? I still see red. Now what?
Freddie got selective listening.
I'm gonna tell you
But
something.
good luck with Russ next year because he's opting in.
Hey, go.
We gonna trade him too.
Go. That's all.
So y'all gonna run it back and go from missing the play into the Western Conference Finals?
Hey,
Mike,
I
I want to bring
I got something to say. Damn it.
the show. Before we end the show, I want to play this. I want to play a game. I want y'all to guess this. Who did this? Oh, Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake him. I ain't got none, but I'm playing. Imagine all the heroes going to.
Hey, tell me E41 spitting bars though. He wasn't spitting bars though.
All right, before we go, it's a great show. But let me tell you something. Who's the only player under 6 feet who done beat Magic, Bird, and Michael Jordan?
It's a team game, right?
Isaiah.
Ain't that what y'all keep telling me?
Come on,
Correct.
you gotta let
Who's
this
the only
Isaiah
point
thing
guard
go, bro?
to
They
do
didn't
beat
even
all of
want
them?
bro on the dream team.
Oh,
It's
Let it
Isaiah,
go.
Con.
Let it go.
Thank you,
Con,
Freddie.
man.
Thank you, Freddie. Under 6 feet.
Con, I love you, man, but you really think Isaiah's a better point guard than Steph?
Hell
Like,
yeah.
you talking out your ass.
A better
bro,
leader.
Right?
He said,
You gotta
"Hell
let that
yeah."
go.
A better leader.
Sente.
A better leader.
He's such a great
Hell
leader.
yeah.
He ain't shake Michael Jordan's hand, and look what happened after that.
He said, "Hell yeah."
What
Well,
what
yeah,
you
he
say,
was
You
Freddie?
didn't hear
That
Conman
don't
be
take away
tripping
what
me
he
out.
did, though.
Look, you can be great, but there's
Comment gonna
levels
come
of
with a
greatness.
random fact in the
Ray,
middle of a heated
under
argument.
6 feet,
Comment gonna come
beat
with a
Larry
random fact
Bird,
that's gonna throw the whole thing
Michael
off.
Jordan, and Magic Johnson. Who else can do that? Who else can say that? And y'all answer that.
I mean, he had a good year.
A
But
good
there's
year.
another guy that won 73 games and has 4 rings.
Years. It was years.
He won 73 games that year, and he choked in the final.
Then we're crying to KD.
No, the league robbed
Then
him.
we're crying to KD.
The
No,
league?
they-
Oh my
That's what I
God!
get.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm
So you
leaving.
said he
3-1, and they give him a suspension for that.
He about to man cut it out. If he would
Hey.
have stopped kicking
But-
people in the
Y'all
nuts prior to
smoking
that,
the
he wouldn't have been in that
weed.
position. That's his fault. Tell him to
Hey,
come on
Marcus.
his feet.
Hey, Marcus, that argument
I
almost
can't argue with
works
that. I ain't
unless
argue with that.
Steph just won without KD, right?
But you know what I
He
saw?
just beat the best
Sensei, you know what I
defensive team
saw?
in the NBA, right?
I saw Draymond pushing
All right.
Edge this finals, and they ain't throw him out.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
he
better
wasn't
stop
kicking
putting some
He
respect
didn't
on
get
Steph
nobody in the
Curry,
growing
man.
neither.
Yeah, he ain't kicking nobody in the nuts.
He snatched somebody out the air.
Y'all better put some respect
That's
on
I
Steph
could
Curry,
listen
being
to
man.
fair,
Paul
bro.
like
Y'all
That's
be
that.
way
talking
different than
reckless
kicking
about
somebody in the
that
nuts.
man.
Like he was blatantly kicking people in the nuts. Like cut.
And
Can I
no.
ask you-
And he fell at Jalen Brown's feet and put his feet on his head. He
Can I
did do
ask-
that.
You know what,
Can I ask
y'all?
y'all something?
Can we ask
He
the
did
Can I
question?
ask y'all
Who's the,
something?
everybody go
When have
pride
you
on
ever
that
seen a
word.
player that
Who's
you
the
got to
bigger
guard as soon
troll,
as they get
Pride
out the
or
car?
Ray?
Oh, I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know.
Who's the
What you say,
bigger
Freddie?
troll of the network,
I
Ray or
don't know.
Pride?
I don't know.
How am I a troll?
No, I got to give it to Pride.
I don't know. I think they
I love them all.
I
I
don't
love
know.
And
them
hey,
all.
and quiet as it's kept, I didn't ran Pride off like 2 shows. I love Pride, but I
Pride
didn't ran
troll.
Pride off like 2 shows.
Pride
Wow.
troll. I haven't. Hey Ray, we got to do some more
Shots
shows
fired,
together. I
Pride.
got to
Shots
understand your
fired.
level of trolling.
Pride, no. Pride was on the show, and he was pissed off, and he had all these facts, and he came back and said, "Ray, you was right. You was right."
Hey Ray, I got to understand your level of
Listen,
trolling.
I'm not gonna do that. So don't think I'm Pride because I ain't gonna do that. Trust me.
Hey,
I say
you know
Ray,
what? I got a new show idea.
Hella
It's
freeze
called
over
Ray
before I
and
say you're
Pride.
right.
I got a new show idea, Ray and Pride on the
Oh, I'll be tuning in that one.
Listen, anybody, hey, you might be the con man, but I'm the can man because anybody can get it. I don't care.
Yeah, Adrian Broner said that he got his ass whooped a couple times.
I ain't him. He ain't me though. Adrian ain't me though.
Hey, Freddie, I want to be the first guest on
I'm
that show.
51-0, the best ever, TBE, baby.
Hey, Rob, wear a referee shirt.
Hey,
I got mine.
Hey, I want to be the first guest on that show.
We're gonna need a referee on this show because I can see Ray and Pride get.
I'll referee.
Listen, everybody needs education from time to time, and I'm here to do that. I love the people.
Ray. I'm going with Ray.
Thank you.
Oh,
You don't know where you're going. You're just going somewhere. You just want to go somewhere.
Man know what he's talking about. Don't disrespect man like that. Man, no.
Go somewhere.
I tell you,
my girls. He just like,
hey.
He one of them. He one of the people like, oh, what y'all do? Oh, y'all finna go there? I'm finna follow y'all. He one of them.
Hey, comment know how I feel about him anyway.
Yes, sir. Barry White.
That is true, Johnny. Nobody want Kyrie on their team, so
nobody wants Kyrie on their team.
Y'all, believe that if you want.
Hey,
yeah, I'm gonna say that's cap. That's cap. Trust me. If Kyrie say I want to come to somebody's team right now,
no, it's not. I just said something similar to what Marcus said earlier, and I got killed. I said if KD comes to the Bulls, I want the Bulls to make it to the finals just to lose to the Warriors. And you're not a real Bulls fan. I just don't like KD. He's soft. I hate KD.
Watch how much ratings we get on this show.
So now KD, I've been trying to wrap the show, but you said KD is soft?
Soft.
What?
Tissy soft. Charmin soft.
Cupcake soft.
Soft. This dude made a.
Since Russell Westbrook put out them cupcake shirts, KD's had a heck of a run.
Hey, guess what? And Kyrie proving right now just how soft he is. Well, if y'all don't pick up Kyrie, I'm not going to play you guys either.
Kevin Durant had what?
Wow.
Kyrie, I don't want to play either. Even though Kyrie didn't want to get vaccinated, and he wanted to do Ramadan while we were playing the playoffs.
Man.
I don't follow.
I just asked Pride in the main chat. I said so.
Yeah, I don't follow either.
He said, "What did I miss?" I said, "So Ray just said he had you run off the show. Is that true?" He said, "When was this?" I said, "We live right now." And he said, "Imagine." I said, "Is it true?" He said, "Negative." So Ray, you up here telling us wolf lies like that?
Hey, the footage exists. Pride was on the show, and then Pride wasn't on the show on the same show before the show was over. That's all I know. You can go look up the footage. I ain't got to lie to nobody. Not yesterday, not today, not tomorrow. And I love Pride.
You said you put your money on Ray.
I'm putting my money on Ray.
And that Pride is the same thing, Freddie. I asked Freddie a couple shows ago, put 200 up that the Lakers going to win the championship, and what Freddie do?
I told you, let's wait. I said, let's wait to see what they do.
Exactly.
That's what exactly. Now, when it comes to week, don't you run from that bet.
Hey, I ride with my boy Pride.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Pride. I ain't feel
like no. Stand up, boy.
No.
Pride, I got you, bro. I'm rolling.
No, I got Ray all the way.
Come man, I appreciate the loyalty. I know some of these new people here are new to this. They're not true to this, and I respect that.
No people. First of all,
so y'all will have time if y'all see fit to visit us.
You be babbling worse than Barkley.
It might be a good one. That might be a good one.
Hold on, let me tell you something, Kenny. Kobe Bryant for the point, 50 point.
But it's been a pleasure, everybody. I know it's a Friday night, so I know y'all can be doing a lot of different things.
Yes,
we appreciate y'all riding with us. We way over time, but thank you so much, Rob, for jumping in. Freddie, as much as you say crazy stuff, it's always appreciated. Since I think it's our first time on camera together, I appreciate you, and we got some stuff to work out because we good, but we ain't. So I got to educate you a little bit, and it'll take some time. It'll take some time, but I have faith in you. I do have faith in you.
Absolutely.
That you will do great things.
We're going to turn this around.
Justin, you didn't talk a lot, but when you spoke wisdom and knowledge, and I hope they understood what you were saying. I hope they sleep on it, let it get into their soul, let it marinate around a little bit. So, Justin, thank you so much. Marcus, you are who you are. Comment, the loyalty is unquestioned. The love is always there.
Yes,
and,
sir.
We're going to wrap this thing, and we can definitely do this again next Friday at 10 o'clock. I believe I'm available. So whoever wants to come, you know where I'll be.
Man, send me the link, bro.
Y'all have a great. What's that?
We're going to be back. Send the link, Ray.
Send the link, bro.
Absolutely. If Freddie would give me the access, I can go get the links and numbers myself.
He might not.
Freddie's still treating me like an intern, won't give me the keys to the kingdom. But it's all right. I understand. But y'all have a great night, and it was a pleasure. Take care.
We gone.
For sure.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the